Don't do anything unless I say so, okay, boss. So, I work at support at a mid-sized law firm. Nothing wild, mostly helping people reset passwords, fixing printers, restarting servers when they act up. It's a decent gig, or at least it was, until we got a new manager. Let's call him Brad. Brad came from one of those high-performance corporate environments where managers bark orders like drill sergeants and everyone's expected to fall in line without question. From day one, he made it very clear, don't do anything unless I say so. I laughed at first, thinking it was some weird joke. But nope, Brad was dead serious. No ticket responses, no restarts, no touching anything without his explicit approval. I tried to reason with him. Explained that it is reactive. Stuff breaks. People can't access files. The internet goes down. If we have to wait for his green light every time, things are gonna crash and burn. But Brad, bless him, was committed to micromanaging with the tenacity of a caffeinated toddler. You're not here to think, he said. You're here to follow instructions. So, I followed instructions. Every little help request got routed to Brad. Printer jam in finance? Ask Brad. Email client crashing? Brad's call. I even stopped doing preemptive maintenance because hey, no green light. Within a day, the help desk queue looked like a horror movie script. Brad was overwhelmed, obviously, but I just smiled and said, you told me not to do anything unless you say so. Then came the real masterpiece. On the last Friday of every month, we have something called Court Filing Friday. All the attorneys scramble to file last-minute documents electronically before 5 p.m. Missing the deadline means court fines, unhappy clients, and furious partners. And like clockwork, around noon, our document management server starts acting up. This isn't a new issue. It happens every few months and just needs a simple restart, a 60-second fix, tops. So I ping Brad. Hey, DMS is throwing error code 504, needs a quick restart. Please advise. No response. An hour passes. I ping him again. Nothing. By 2 p.m., half the attorneys are sweating bullets because they can't access their files. People start coming to me directly. I shrug and say, sorry, Brad said not to do anything unless he approves it. At 3:47 p.m., yes, I remember the exact time, Brad finally replies. I'm in a meeting. Why are you bothering me with this? So I reply, word for word, because you instructed me not to do anything unless you say so. I'm respecting that. At 4:01, Brad storms into the room, face red and breathing like he just ran a marathon. Why is the system still down? I didn't even flinch. I pulled up his email, read his words out loud in front of our director of operations, who happened to be there investigating why everything was melting down, and then restarted the server. It took less than a minute. Documents started flying out of the system within 30 seconds. Too late. We missed 3 court filings. The firm had to file for emergency extensions and take the embarrassment on the chin. Monday morning, I get called into a meeting with the director of ops. I calmly show him the email chain, the Slack messages, and explain everything. No drama. Just the facts. That afternoon, Brad was reassigned to some meaningless position with no real duties. A few weeks later, he just sort of vanished. HR wouldn't say if he was fired, but I haven't seen his micromanaging mug since. We got a new manager shortly after, someone who actually trusts us to do our jobs. I got a raise, too. So yeah, Brad wanted me to follow instructions to the letter. I did. And when the system burned down around him, I had receipts, logs, and a clean conscience. Never underestimate a guy who knows when to shut up, wait, and let the policy do the talking. Told to follow exact company protocol? Sure thing, Karen. Enjoy the tanked $1 million deal. A few years ago, I worked as an account coordinator at a mid-tier marketing agency that took itself way too seriously. We had an obnoxiously thick employee handbook, corporate buzzwords galore, and worst of all, an account director named Karen, yes, her real name, and yes, it fits. Karen was one of those people who thinks process is a personality trait. You couldn't sneeze without following a 12-step protocol and CCANG 5 people. Anyway, we'd been courting this huge potential client, let's call them Thunder Corp. They were a big player in the tech space, and landing them would have made Karen's already massive ego inflate to Macy's parade balloon levels. We prepped for weeks, and by we, I mean the team did all the work while Karen stood over us like a budget Miranda Priestley. The day of the pitch arrives, and our creative director, legend of a guy named Sam, is out sick with food poisoning. Karen panics. We cannot deviate from protocol, she says, meaning, no one except Sam is allowed to present creative ideas. Even though I had helped make most of the deck and knew it inside and out, Karen made it crystal clear, if they ask about the creative, you say we'll follow up. That's the rule. We do not improvise. We follow exact company protocol. Cool. Got it. I'm just the protocol parrot now. We hop on the Zoom call with ThunderCorp, me, Karen, and their 3 top execs. Everything is going smoothly. I cover the account strategy, Karen talks budget and timelines, poorly, and then comes the moment of truth. ThunderCorp's VP of Marketing leans in and says, alright, the strategy sounds solid, but can we see what kind of creative concepts you're thinking? Just a sneak peek? Karen freezes. She turns to me and gives a look that says don't you dare, so I smile and respond, dead serious. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. But per our internal company protocol, I'm not allowed to show you any creative ideas unless they're presented by our designated creative director. Unfortunately, he's currently out with what we hope is only aggressive food poisoning. As a result, we'll have to schedule a separate meeting just to show you the exciting stuff that could have made you fall in love with our pitch today. There's an awkward pause. The VP chuckles, thinking I'm joking. But I double down. No, really. We have strict presentation hierarchy rules. If I even describe a creative concept, I'll get written up. Possibly flogged. Our agency is very into punishment-based motivation. He laughs again. Are you serious? I turn to Karen, who now looks like she's aged 5 years in 5 seconds. Karen, can I describe the creative? She mutters, no, we'll follow up. ThunderCorp politely ends the call shortly after. Karen spends the rest of the day panic calling our creative director, who is apparently too busy vomiting to join. A week later, we find out ThunderCorp went with another agency, one that apparently does let people talk in meetings. Karen tries to pin it on me, but I just pull up the Slack messages and emails where she said, repeatedly, to follow exact company protocol and not say a word about the creative. My manager, not Karen, later buys me a beer and says, honestly? That was hilarious. And also, kind of deserved. Karen didn't last much longer. Apparently, the company decided it was time to streamline upper-level management. I stayed for another year, got promoted, and now work somewhere with a lot fewer rules and a lot more common sense. Moral of the story? If you build your house out of red tape, don't be surprised when someone ties it in a bow and sets it on fire, with a smile.